Ukrainian drones are hunting down North Korean vehicles fighting for the Russians. 4 months after the first North Korean anti-tank missile vehicles showed up along the front line of Russia's wider war on Ukraine, Ukrainian drone operators have hunted down one of the vehicles. The 6-wheeled Bullseye 4 was motoring down a road somewhere in Kharkiv Oblast in northeastern Ukraine when a first-person view drone from the Vitrolom drone group, part of the Ukrainian Army's 3rd Assault Brigade, chased it down. The blast, observed by a second Ukrainian drone, seemingly cooked off some of the 8 anti-tank missiles the Bullseye 4 carried in its top-mounted launcher. The Vitrolom group claimed the North Korean vehicle was knocked out of action. "We destroy the enemy every day," the group crowed. It's the first confirmed strike on one of the growing number of fire support vehicles North Korea has deployed to the front line of the Russia-Ukraine war, alongside thousands of North Korean infantry. In addition to an unspecified number of Bullseye 4s, the North Koreans have also sent dozens of M1989 howitzers and M1991 rocket launchers. North Korean reinforcements are indispensable to the Russian war effort, hurling assault group after assault group at Ukrainian positions in a desperate effort to take or retake as much territory as possible before the inauguration of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump potentially upends the politics of the wider war. In late January, the Russians have been losing between 1,200 and 2,000 troops and up to 100 vehicles every day for months. The record casualties exceed the Kremlin's capacity to recruit, train, and deploy fresh troops and build or restore from long-term storage replacement armored vehicles. Total Russian losses after 33 months of hard fighting might exceed 730,000 killed and wounded troops and 15,000 pieces of destroyed, damaged, abandoned, and captured heavy equipment. Ukrainian losses are much lighter. A Russian offensive that kicked off in eastern Ukraine's Donbass region in late 2023, and a smaller offensive that, since October, has targeted the 250-square-mile salient Ukrainian troops occupy in western Russia's Kursk Oblast, has resulted in steady but small gains for the Russians. But catastrophic casualties have robbed Russian regiments and brigades of momentum. Russian forces will eventually make operationally significant gains if Ukrainian forces do not stop ongoing Russian offensive operations. The Institute for the Study of War in Washington, D.C. concluded, but the Russian military cannot sustain such loss rates indefinitely, especially not for such limited gains. Without those thousands of North Korean troops and dozens of howitzers and launchers, the Russian war effort would be even more fragile than it already is. That's why the first Ukrainian strike on a North Korean vehicle in Ukraine is such a big deal. To defeat the twin offensives in the Donbass and Kursk, the Ukrainians not only have to keep attriting Russian forces, they also have to start attriting North Korean forces too. Previously, in early October, Russian regiments and brigades in western Russia's Kursk Oblast launched a powerful offensive aimed at eliminating the 250-square-mile salient that Ukrainian forces carved out of the oblast in early August. Incredibly, the outgunned Ukrainian brigades in Kursk aren't just holding. They managed to organize a counterattack on Wednesday. Tanks and other forces from no fewer than 3 units, the 17th Heavy Mechanized Brigade, 21st Mechanized Brigade, and 80th Air Assault Brigade, reportedly advanced into the southern outskirts of Darino, a hamlet in the no man's land on the southwestern edge of the salient. Apparently, after redeploying from its previous positions around Novi Put, 25 miles to the west, the 21st Mechanized Brigade deployed at least one of its few remaining German-made Leopard 2 A6 tanks to Darino. Former Soviet T-64s or T-72s from the recently reorganized 17th Heavy Mechanized Brigade took part in the attack. Russian drones swooped down, damaging at least one tank from each brigade. The crew of the Leopard 2 A6 was observed bailing out of the burning vehicle. Firing back, the Ukrainian 80th Air Assault Brigade knocked out at least 2 Russian BMD fighting vehicles, apparently from the 83rd Air Assault Brigade. Darino lies along the right flank of the Russian force, a quartet of airborne and marine regiments and brigades, sustaining the main thrust of the Russian offensive in Kursk. Shrugging off serious losses, the Russians have been sending assault group after assault group along the road through Zeleny Shalak, 4 miles north of Darino. Water obstacles stretching between Darino and Zeleny Shalak limit the Russians' space for maneuver. If the Ukrainians can hold Darino, they could close off secondary assault lanes for the attacking Russians and further channel them into the kill zone around Zeleny Shalak. It's important not to overstate the scale of the Ukrainian assault on Wednesday. Elements of 3 brigades advanced at most just a few thousand feet and may not have stayed. That the Ukrainians were able to counterattack at all is remarkable, however. Overall, Ukrainian troops are outnumbered 3-1 in Kursk,